Atheist Apple here. I've got another religious video for you today. A refute. We're going to be looking at why atheists are, quote, wrong about faith.
Hey YouTube!
Ugh, finally a decent quality video. You don't see too many of those today.
Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of atheists diminishing Christian intellect.
Oh, come on now. Man up. I'm an apple, for God's sake. You're not gonna let me diminish you, are you?
There's this notion that atheism and science rely on evidence, whereas religion relies on blind faith.
No. Okay, atheism does not rely on evidence. Atheism doesn't rely on anything, in fact. Science is all about gaining answers based on evidence, yes. But atheism is in no way science. Atheists do use science to get their answers to the universe. But that's about all. The thing that you said about religion, though, it's kinda true.
Oh my god, something an apologist said is true?
I mean, religion does not rely on blind faith. Religion simply uses blind faith and magic in getting their answers.
Two things are wrong about that assertion.
I believe I just told you the two things that were wrong about that assertion.
Number one, there's an incredible amount of evidence behind any major religion, particularly Christianity.
Really? Then please show it to me. I beg you. Oh, and by the way, evidence for what? You said that there's an incredible amount of evidence for major religions, but evidence for what? The existence of a god?
Number two, science has requires, and will require faith.
No, it doesn't. The whole reason that science exists is so that you don't have to use blind faith in answering questions of why phenomena occur. If I told you there was a dragon in my garage, you'd probably need faith to believe it, pending there was no evidence, but if there was good evidence for this dragon's existence, you wouldn't need as much blind faith. In fact, you would probably not need any at all. Science uses evidence, in a nutshell, I guess. It almost seems to me like you're just making shit up just to make your claims about atheism actually make sense.
Many advances made in science happened because some of the greatest minds in history employed faith to pursue those frontiers.
Faith in what? A god? You're being strangely vague here. Isaac Newton was religious, for example, but he also believed in alchemical transmutation and alchemy. But those things are, however, completely incorrect given today's understanding of chemistry. Also, how does the argument that some scientists are religious help advance your argument that atheists are wrong?
Furthermore, science requires faith because assumptions are made all the time, and they're usually assumptions that scientists can't prove.
No. Assumptions are made in religion, not science. Evidence is gathered in science, which leads us to reasonable conclusions. In religion, assumptions are made that a god exists and is the cause of everything. Now, you have no evidence or proof of that claim, and therefore it's an assumption.
For instance, we assume that we can generalize future laws based on past laws.
Yes, but that's probability, not faith.
But what would happen if we woke up tomorrow and gravity wasn't working, or the Earth suddenly reversed orbit? Science would be screwed if the laws of physics were suddenly different.
Science wouldn't be screwed. We would simply need to reevaluate our previous conclusions and admit that we were wrong. See those words? Admit we were wrong? Those are some words that I've never ever heard religion use. Now, if a scenario like the one you described happened, we would redo our testing and try to gain a new and better understanding of how the universe works. None of the things in that scenario would imply the existence of a god.
And what if the laws of physics are different in different galaxies? If so, who's to say that they one day won't change in ours?
What if? Yeah, so what? What if the laws of physics are different in other universes? We can't always try and adjust our knowledge. We can perform more tests and reality check ourselves. We won't resort to magic to solve all our problems. That's just stupid.
The reality is that there's a lot that science doesn't know and can't answer, even beyond the argument of creation.
Yep, there it is, and we admit it too, but you're falling for the God of the Gaps argument. I don't know how many times atheists have had to say this before, but just because science lacks a current understanding of something does not mean that you can fill that gap in knowledge with magic or God.
For example, science can't tell you the difference between good and evil.
Who the hell ever said it was supposed to? And why is that important? If you want to know what tells us what's good and what's not, you just need to look at evolutionary psychology.
Science can't tell us that rape is wrong.
That's not the purpose of science. You're treating science like it's a religion, and it's not. Now, let me tell you where morals come from, bud. Evolution works with a survival of the fittest kind of way. If we treat each other with respect, it benefits the human race. If we don't, then it's just the opposite. It still plays into effect today, just subconsciously. God is in no way needed to codify or distribute morals like he's a vendor on the streets.
Sure, we accept that as a value judgment, but science can only tell us what's observable and testable.
Now you're starting to get the point of science.
And even then, a degree of faith and assumption making is required.
In what? I've already explained why this is not true. I'm not gonna do it again.
That's what pisses me off, because atheists basically claim that believing in the flying spaghetti monster, is as ridiculous as believing in Jesus, because both require faith.
What, do you think that's not true? They both do require blind faith, and both have zero evidence backing their existence up. If you're gonna get pissed off about that, you need to at least give some evidence for Jesus' existence.
Let's take a look at some YouTubers. Flying spaghetti monster. Unlike the flying spaghetti monster, there's incredible historic evidence that backs Christianity.
How dare you blaspheme the flying spaghetti monster? There's incredible evidence for his existence. Just look around you. If the flying spaghetti monster didn't exist, why are all the planets shaped like meatballs? Answer that. Okay, but seriously, there is no evidence for Christianity's claims at all. If you think there is, don't just sit there. Give it to me.
There are more available manuscripts of scripture than there are other historic and ancient texts that atheists have no problem believing.
It doesn't matter whether or not atheists believe this shit. It's about whether or not this shit is actually true. And these manuscripts, you're not talking about the Bible? Oh no, the dreaded Bible.
My point is that atheists are hypocritical and really dumb when they mock faith, because faith is needed in science as well.
Okay, I've already disproved your point.
But those are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments below.
Just your thoughts? That's a terrible way to end a video, just my thoughts.
I usually cover politics in my videos, but I think I'm going to venture into religion as well. So subscribe and like me on Facebook, and I'll see you soon.
Wonder what I taste like. Ooh. It's actually pretty good. Oh, sorry about that. I was a bit carried away there. I thought that was going to go on forever. I mean, I guess now I don't really need an outro, because this guy pretty much summed it up for me. Just replace the Facebook with Twitter, at the new Atheism, of course. And in the meantime, keep it fruity. Let's be honest here. It doesn't matter whether atheists believe this shit or not. It's about whether you believe this shit is true. Start this again. Start again. Okay, let's be intellectually honest here. It doesn't matter. Let's start again. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, let's be honest here.